All to the front.
The two best in this division looking to unify the belts. Once again for the Unified World Championships, Natasha Jonas versus Lauren Price. Dorchester Hotel here in London, ahead of a huge card on March 7th. Another all-women's boxing card headlined by Natasha Jonas and Lauren Price, promoted by Ben Shalom and Boxxer, and live worldwide on Sky Sports from the Royal Albert Hall. But before we get to that, we have a press conference today to highlight some of those competitors on the card. Before we get to those competitors, I do want to thank our sponsors: Betfred, Riyadh Season, That Prize Guy, Hell Energy, IFX Payments, Village Hotels, and Car Finance 24/7. I'm going to welcome a few people that are joining us on stage. First, we're going to hear from a lot of the undercard fighters before we bring up our main eventers, but I do want to introduce a couple people. First, the host of today's press conference, as usual, from Sky Sports, Mr. Andy Scott. And seated next to Andy is the CEO, the founder, and the promoter of this event, the WBC World Champion, ladies and gentlemen, Sweet Caroline Dubois. And also joining Andy and Ben on stage, the trainers of our main eventers. Please welcome Mr. Rob McCracken and Mr. Joe Gallagher. Andy Scott, the floor is yours.
Yeah, thanks Big Mo for those terrific introductions. Welcome to all of you to the Dorchester today. Thank you very much for giving up your time to come down for this unstoppable media press conference. We've actually been down at the Royal Albert Hall today to pose for a couple of promotional photos, and when you see that iconic historic venue, even from the outside, it really does take your breath away. To think that a professional ring is going to be inside that iconic hall where the likes of Muhammad Ali, Henry Cooper, Prince Nassim Hamed, Lennox Lewis, Frank Bruno, Ricky Hatton, and many, many more have all fought under those bright lights, and now we have this terrific bill as well. It really is going to be something special on March 7th. So without further ado, Big Mo, I'll give you the chance to bring in our main event fighters.
Absolutely, thank you, Andy. The main event.
I'll come to you first, Ben Shalom. I wonder, when you think back to Shields Marshall, you kind of think, God, maybe you should think that where it is, because you're never going to get anything as good as that. And then you see the talent at these two tables here, and the hardware, the belts that are on offer, and you think, wow, this is going to be something special March 7th. Just talk us how we got to this point and how excited you are to get this card all signed, sealed and delivered.
Yeah, first of all, I have to thank Sky Sports. We're very passionate about women's boxing, but what they do for women's sport is truly unparalleled. That first women's night that we did became the most watched female event ever on Sky Sports, which really shows the power of women's boxing and where we've got to. I always think of Kay Taylor, Natasha Jonas, Savannah Marshall as the reason why the sport's so big. So to be able to be sat here today with Olympians from London all the way to Paris and everyone in between on a card like this, it's phenomenal. Thank you to Royal Albert Hall. We've been knocking on the door for nearly 2 years to get boxing back in, and it had to be something very special, and this truly is very special. The main event is absolutely phenomenal. Even just teasing it, sold out the venue, and the undercard is the talent that sat here. There's two major announcements that aren't even sat here to be announced as well. Is incredible. Women's boxing is a force to be reckoned with. The numbers speaks for itself, and this night will be, on March the 7th, will be something to remember.
Just a quick one on the Royal Albert Hall. Cirque du Soleil are in there today, and you think of how incredible that show is. To think that a boxing ring is going to be in the centre of that, a venue that's hosted boxing for over a century now. To have your name on that, I mean, you say that you've been banging on the door for 2 years. I presume from a promoter's point of view, it's a bit of a UK bucket list thing to tick that off.
Yeah, without a doubt. I didn't think it would happen at one stage, and even International Women's Day and their involvement and getting involved all helped. Sky Sports, as I say, the fighters. And in the end, I think Albert Hall looked at this and said, this isn't just an event, a special boxing event, this is a special event for sport, and a special event for women's sport. And it's incredibly proud moment for the company, incredibly proud moment for our fighters, and incredibly proud moment for Sky Sports as well. This really will be a phenomenal event on March the 7th.
Well, I've already mentioned the legacy that Shields Marshall left, and I should just point out, great to have Savannah Marshall here today as part of the broadcast team. Let's just remind ourselves of that historic night at the O2 and see how far we've all come, I think. Stand up when you look at that. Let's move on to the undercard and one of the reasons we're here today. I want to start with a real special fighter, someone that's been on the Toe to Toe podcast and told us all about her story, to go to the Olympic Games, to bring back a medal, and now to start her journey in the pro ranks. Cingy Ngamba, great to have you on the card, Cindy. You only get one professional debut. What are your hopes and expectations for March 7th?
Thank you for having me. I'm excited for my debut on the 7th of March. Again, it's going to be another historical female boxing show taking place in the Albert Hall, Richard Albert Hall, so I'm actually excited. She'll be sharing the ring with amazing role models like Jonas and Price and Natasha Jonas and many other female in the game. It's amazing, and ready to get the game rolling and to get as many experience as possible throughout my professional journey. I'm excited.
Was it an easy decision to decide to turn professional now?
No, actually it wasn't, because before the build-up of the Olympic and the qualifier, I had my eyes on turning pro. But my main goal, ever since I started boxing, was to go to the Olympic, and I had to get that out of the way first of all. And then I had an amazing experience even after the Olympic, and so much support and so much praises, and hopefully in the pro, I can, hopefully in my pro journey, I can get as much support as possible, and also learn through the barriers of experienced female boxer in the game already.
Yeah, it's an easy question that we ask every debutant. You know, what are your hopes and expectations from the professional game? If you were going to set yourself a ceiling and a baseline of achievements, what is the minimum that you want to get out of this sport? Is it world titles and everything that comes with it?
100%. I think for every boxer out there, every fighter, you want to set yourself a high goals and aims, and I want to get myself in the ring with the most experienced female boxer out there, and hopefully go for any world title as possible. I'm a fighter and I'm a boxer. At the end of the day, I can learn through any type of style as possible. So my main has always been, I set myself goals and aims, and this is just another goal that I've set myself, which is to turn pro and to get busy as possible as I can.
I'll just bring in Ben Shalom. If I didn't get a chance to ask you about, same as us, you know, the boxing grapevine, and anybody that's been up at the EIS or anybody that watched Cindy's run through the Olympics know how good she is. What are your thoughts on her turning pro?
Yeah, first of all, incredibly proud to see her up here now. I said to Robert Cracken, I think last year I said she's the one. She is the one that has the potential. She's the one that we want. A phenomenal performance in Paris. I think, you know, grabbed the hearts of the nation, and so to see what she can go and achieve now in a professional career should be phenomenal. I think Lauren Price, Natasha Jonas, even Caroline Dubois, and what they've gone on to achieve since the Olympic Games has been unbelievable, and I think Cindy's going to have a similar trajectory. So amazing for her to be here, amazing for this to be her debut as well at the Royal Albert Hall. It sets up what should be a great career ahead.
Let's move on to the next fight on the card, which I have to be honest, I think it's been made pretty quickly because it's caught everybody out. Usually nothing is secret in the boxing world. You only have to go on social media and you'll probably find some degrees of the truth. Karriss Artingstall and Champman, welcome to both of you. I didn't believe it until I saw it, but you're both here now and it is great to have you both. Raven, I'll probably come to you first if you don't mind. What an opportunity for you. I don't think anybody would have blamed you if you went back to the drawing board and perhaps took a softer route back and rebounded after the Sky Nicholson defeat, but straight into a big fight like this against Karriss Artingstall. What does that say about your motivations and your ambitions?
Yeah, I'm super motivated. Obviously, we always said we don't want an easy route. You know, we don't want easy fights. It's always been about meaningful fights and proving ourselves at the top, and that's exactly why we why we agreed to this fight as well. You know, we said after Saudi that we didn't want to go back any levels, and we feel like we needed to, and we got this opportunity. So thank Ben for creating that opportunity and fight. I think it's a fight that a lot of people have wanted to see. Both Karriss and I wanted this fight for a while, and timing's just worked out pretty well for it, and I think it's a really exciting fight to make, and like I say, it's a fight a lot of people have wanted for a while.
Have you been able to process what happened out in Saudi Arabia? I don't want to dwell on it, and with a number of things like that, you can take positives in defeat, and you know what you've got to work on now, but have you been able to come to terms with it and be at peace with it?
Yeah, 100%. I'm quite stoic mentally in general, and I know where I went wrong in that fight. I didn't turn up on the day, and the better person won on the day, but that's boxing, you know, you have a fight date and you need to hope that on that day you're the best version of yourself, and so we learned a lot, and it was such a big event. Probably underestimated just how big the event was as well, and there was a lot going on in the week, and it was a lot to take in, but at the same time it was such an experience, and so we definitely learned a lot from it. And it's one of them cliches, isn't it? You can learn more from a loss than a win, and I think that's definitely something that we had to address as a team after that fight as well, and that's why it was sort of agreed that we don't want to take any step backwards, we don't want to take an easy fight and work our way back up there. Let's just go full steam ahead, and yeah, that's why we wanted this fight.
Well, welcome back and welcome to the card. We're looking forward to it. Karriss, great to have you back as well. It's been a while. Been again in a big fight when perhaps you could have taken a little warm-up fight and nobody probably would have batted an eyelid, but how excited are you to be back, especially against the fighter of the quality of Raven Champman?
Yeah, I'm chuffed to be back, and I'm not getting any younger, and time waits for nobody. Raven's a decent name, and I just want to be the best in my weight division. So I think I need a fight like Raven. She's got quite a high profile. She's been in with the top girls. Her last fight was Sky Nicholson. So I think a win over Raven puts me straight back in the mix with the top girls and potentially knocking on the door for world titles this year.
Does it help or hinder when you know your opponent pretty well? Because I think you two have spent some time together on the amateur circuit and have shared a ring before. Does that help or does that hinder?
I think it's irrelevant in a way. We boxed each other about 5 years ago, something like that. We've spent rounds with each other up on the GB setup. We know each other quite well. Yes, there's been short bay windows in between them interactions we've had, and improvements have been made, things have tweaked, whatever, but we know each other quite well. We pretty much know what to expect of one another, I believe. I think it's irrelevant. On the day, I believe I turn up the better fighter and I get the win.
I think those of us that have seen both your professional careers, and people behind the scenes might put us straight, but feel like this is going to be a really good clash of styles, that entertainment-wise, this one should make for really good TV.
Yeah, it could do. I'm just going to adapt to whatever's in front of me on the night. If I need to box my way through the 10 rounds, so be it, I will. I'll do whatever it takes on the night to get the win, because that's the most important thing to me on the night, just to get the win so I can move forward with my career.
Well, brilliant. It's great to have you both on the card, and we really do look forward to that terrific undercard matchup. Moving on to Caroline Dubois, who sat in front of me now. I mean, Caroline, what can we say that hasn't already been said? We all talk about it as if it was a victory, just because of the manner of it. What is your reflections on last time out against Jessica Kamara?
Yeah, for myself, I always feel going into a fight that, from my takeaway, is to go out there and do the best that I can do. Whatever comes from that, it's not up to me. I felt like I went out there, did the best that I could do. 2 rounds, it was a whitewash, I think. I showed my levels, I showed the standard that I'm at, I showed that, I believe that I'm the best 135, and that performance put it out there that I am, and it's on to the next one.
Yeah, what about the future and the year ahead? You make no secret, every single time we put the questions to you, put the names to you, and you just, every single time bat them away, say line them up, titles, big fights, that's all I want. What are your hopes and expectations for 2025?
For me, the biggest goal for me right now is to be undisputed, and I feel like it can happen right now. This year is a breakout year for me, and I think the goal, the aim, the ambition is to be undisputed.
What about boxing at the Royal Albert Hall? You're still so young in terms of your professional development, but to be part of a card like this, you must be looking at this and thinking, before too long, I hope headline shows of this sort of quality of my own at the top of the bill.
Yeah, it wasn't too long ago that I was at the O2 Arena, and it was a real pinch me moment being there, seeing the likes of Precious Shields, Savannah Marshall, Michaela Mayer. I first watched, these girls when I was 11, Tokyo 2012 Olympics, and then at Rio Olympics. And and now I'm on the card with them. And now again we've got another all-female show, and again I'm on the card, and now I've got a high spot, high position. I'm here with 2 belts beside me. You know, I'm excited, I can't wait. I feel like I'm on a great momentum, on a great trajectory, and I know it's only going to get better from it.
There's that great picture at ringside of all of your team sort of holding their heads and looking pretty squeamish about your performance last time out, just about how sort of violent and ruthless it was in a number of ways. But is the best still yet to come? Champman was very quick to point out, like, we haven't really scratched the surface yet. Do you subscribe to that opinion as well, that there's still more to come?
100%. I feel like a lot of fighters have the same mentality, that it's the person in front of you that brings out the best performance, you know. You've seen it time and time again. You get with someone who's a bit scrappy, and for some reason it brings you down a notch. But when you get with someone who's got good shape, good hands, that's when you bring the best out of yourself. And Jessica, she did what she had to do. But I was miles levels above her, and I can't wait to get in with the ring with somebody who's as close as they can be on my level.
Well, I mean, it's great to hear you speaking so confidently. We look forward to the next instalment, because I'm sure it's going to be entertaining. Ben Sean, before I move on to the main event, just to wrap up the whole undercard there, great to have Karriss in against Raven, but that was pretty violent stuff last time out, but perhaps we shouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, and as I say, 2 more big announcements to add. What I'll say about Caroline is the biggest compliment I can pay is we all love women's boxing. There's still a few people that don't, and they're the ones coming up to me saying that they've been converted, and that's because of Caroline Dubois. To have her now at 24 years old, at the start of her career, already having that sort of impact in the sport, it's going to be unbelievable to see what she can do over the next decade. I truly believe she's going to change the face of the sport, and yeah, so exciting to be at the start of the journey.
Yeah, it's great. It forms part of this terrific undercard, this unstoppable undercard. But let's move on to the main event. I think I speak for both main event fighters when I say I think we thought this was going to be a big night. I think we thought that the attention would be there, but I think even those of us that have been here a number of years now, it's been quite a trajectory, and there's been so many eyeballs and cameras on this fight already. Let's just remind ourselves of some of the media coverage of how this fight was made. The media coverage, it's all been brilliant, but it is now time to hear from the fighters themselves. I think everybody's had enough of me talking. I'll come straight to you, Lauren Price. Someone that's been there, seen it, done it as an amateur. I wonder how this compares now, the Royal Albert Hall, when I've missed again some of those names that have boxed there, to fight Natasha Jonas at an iconic, historic venue like this. How does that compare to sort of some of the things you've really achieved?
I mean, the 7th of March, I've just been in our Royal Albert Hall, and it's giving me goosebumps just looking at it now. So walking out in a fight, an all British clash, it's going to be up there, you know, with winning that Olympic gold medal, definitely.
Have you been surprised, or is this all water off a duck's back? And, you know, the attention around this fight is really ramping up into a big fight. I think we internally at Sky and Boxxer thought it would be a big fight, but the reception has been pretty incredible. Would you concede that you have been surprised, or is this all just a walk in the park for you?
No, I have been surprised, to be honest. Even on, you know, ticket sales, it's blown out the park, and not even just, you know, I bang on about me being Welsh and being proud, but I'm British. I'm proud to be British, and I've got fans from all over who's reaching out to me: English fans, Scottish fans, Irish fans, and yeah, it's just gone to show, you know, how big it's going to be, and I'm excited, and I'm proud to be part. You know, headlining. I was lucky enough to be on the all-female card with Marshall and Shields in my second pro fight. So to be headlining now in an all-British clash, then yeah, it's a great honour, and I'm proud to be part of it.
Stay there, don't go anywhere, because we're going to talk about the fight itself. But Tash, I just want to sort of echo those sentiments. You didn't get to box on the Shields Marshall forward for a couple of years, and you're topping the bill at the Royal Albert Hall, another historic night. It's kind of come full circle. You do get your flowers now.
Yeah, I think there was a fight a week or two before in Liverpool. I think we mentioned was headlining, and it just made sense at the time. But then I remember getting to the Shields Marshall in my little Sky get-up and thinking, what show to get so yeah, to be able to have my own, be headlining the Royal Albert Hall, you know, first time ever for females is a big occasion, and I think the fans appreciate the fight as well.
Yeah. Have you been in the venue yet? Have you ever seen a show there, or will this be the first time you've been in there?
No, I've been there to see one of the shows with my little girl, and it's an amazing venue inside. I've never seen her for the boxing thingy, but hopefully I'll get a sneak peek before I leave today.
Yeah, I'm sure. I think Cirque du Soleil wouldn't let us in earlier, but that's another story. Let me bring in the training teams before we come back to the fighters. Ron McCracken, CV, great to see you. You've got an interesting dynamic in this fight because obviously with your role up at the EIS, you've seen both fighters come through that setup. So it is a bit of a different dynamic. The fact that Tasha was the first female to box in the Olympics for Team GB is pretty special, and it's kind of come full circle.
Yeah, Natasha was on the programme for a good while. I know her very well. She's a really nice person. We had a chat outside just before with Joe as well. I know Joe as long as I've known Natasha, to be honest. It's the best against the best, isn't it? That's what everybody's in professional boxing for. You saw it recently with Galami 5 after 9 fights fighting somebody who was, ranked #1 in the world. You've got to challenge yourself in this sport, and you've got to move as quickly as you can, in my opinion, once you're up to speed and you've got that experience, and that's what we're doing with Lauren, and Lauren's happy to do that. Natasha and Lauren, I feel, are the two best boxers at the weight in the world. So it's just boxing, and it's just a fantastic fight, fantastic matchup. They're both British, so it should be brilliant for female boxing as well.
Someone said to me earlier, the problem with you guys is you just don't know how good these Olympians are to come out of that that cycle and the EIS, and I think you could put Lauren in that bracket that perhaps we didn't quite know, but now we do. How happy have you been with her transition from an amateur to a professional?
Yeah, the first couple of fights was, like a little bit nervous for Lauren. It's a different sport, isn't it? It just is. But she had 2 bouts under her belt. She sort of had the hang of it, and then she's become very confident. When fighters become very confident, you can push them on and work with them, and they understand what you need from them. But yeah, Lauren Price has been a phenomenal athlete, like Natasha was when she was on the programme. I've already said it, that the best should fight the best in professional boxing, and certainly, Lauren and Natasha, what they've achieved in their careers, and what Lauren's got ahead of her, and what Natasha's still got ahead of her, and what she's already achieved is phenomenal for both of them. But no point being in boxing if you're not going to fight the best, and Lauren's happy to challenge herself against the best, and Natasha's happy to take up the challenge, so it couldn't get any better or more exciting. And the Albert Hall as well is probably the best venue in boxing. I was lucky to box there once or twice, so everyone's looking forward to it. It'll be a massive night for boxing. And I think the 6 or 7 females that have worked with me in the past on the GB programme, it was great to see Savannah Marshall earlier on today, and all the rest of them I've seen them a few times. I've seen Caroline a few times recently as well, because she's always knocking people about in Sheffield.
Yeah, I bet they've probably got a wave, you probably can't tell us any of their secrets, to be honest. But it's great to have you up here. I mean, one thing I don't think this fight perhaps needs is people doing it down and trainers doing it down. I think it speaks for itself, the fight. Joe Gallagher, I want to bring you in. There's quite a nice sort of junction there, like Rob talking about the transition that Lauren made from the amateurs to the pros, 2 very different sports. It seems like on your side of the table, Tasha made a real smooth transition, and I just wonder if she's achieved everything that you thought she would achieve in the pros.
Good afternoon everyone. First of all, I'd like to thank Sky Sports, Ben Shalom, Boxxer, you and everyone for turning up today, and also for, like Robert, we're similar age, but I don't think neither of us years ago when we used to be down there at Lennox Lewis's College in London would be sat here on a top table full of female fighters. That shows you how far female boxing's come in British boxing. Been very fortunate with Natasha, who had an unbelievable amateur career, then at a late age decided she wanted to turn professional. Who would have thought we'd be sat here today? I think a year ago today, nearly to the day, she promised me, and in the ring to you, Andy, that 2024 was the last year. And a year later, we're sat here, headline, top of the table again, and there's no denying the girl's ambition, desire, and point to prove. I feel it's a touch of deja vu a little bit here today, Andy. We've been here before. We feel, especially with the Terry Harper fight, poor Natasha, Terry too much, too young, and I feel the echoes what people are assuming here, a passing of the guard, a changing of the guard, but that's not going to happen. We've been here before and we're going to do it again. And Natasha Jonas, just wanted to touch before you move on, at 40 years of age, soon to be 41, still showed the desire and the will to test herself. Like Rob said, these girls want to test themselves against. And Natasha has already said, not overlooking someone, but she still wants a Mayer fight, she still wants a Katie Taylor fight, and that just shows the desire of her, and what a shining example of her and Katie Taylor have been for female boxing since 2012.
Well, I wasn't going to move on, I was going to come back to you just to say, I do know you and I know Tash as well. I would just wonder actually though, if that champs camp mentality, actually this is when you're all at your best, when people are writing you off, and that sort of siege mentality that you can instill in your fighters, if that's not always a bad thing.
I don't think it's necessarily a siege mentality. I think it's just a case that's how we like it, and it's like anything. When I'm sure, like when Rob and other trainers in the room, when they sit down with fighters, they've got to click with them, and it suits the mentality, the personality. And I've been quite fortunate that the fighters that I've worked with in the past over the years have had that same type of mentality. They've come to me, they've been written off, and they've come back and they've proved everyone wrong. And Natasha's sitting here today as a two-weight unified world champion. I hope and prayed that she was going to retire, but she isn't. She's took the challenge, and she's going to take it and come out on March the 7th as the victor. Just to touch on the Royal Albert Hall, what you said, the names of the boxer, I've not been there myself. It'll be a proud moment for myself to walk out with Natasha, and also to have a fight in that venue. When you say the likes of people like Henry Cooper have boxed there, the Craze, all three brothers fought there, Pereira, Lewis, Bruno. It's some facility and some venue, and what a night it's going to be. Really looking forward to it. And I've done enough talking now.
I don't know, it's all good though, well done. I'm going to bounce off that straight to Tasha though. You know, that last dance in 2024, well, we're still dancing now. I do wonder, like, boxing is about timing, and I think what Joe's alluding to there is a lot of people, it's either one or two things. It's either too soon for Lauren Price, who is making waves as a pro, but it's still early days, or it's too late for you, you've had your time and the baton's going to pass. I wonder how that sits with you when you hear that.
The pressure's not on me. You know, Lauren's the champion who's never lost a round, the Olympic gold medalist, and there's a lot of pressure on her to come and do what she says she can do. So yeah, the underdog suits me. I've been here before, and it's not something that's new. And yeah, I would come up China, so.
It's also something you don't fear, the fact you touched on it there, you know, barely lost a minute as a pro. I don't think, you know, what lights a fire under you is challenges in first. That's a fact, isn't it? That, you know, the first to do this, the first to do that.
100%. I love being the first. And the first is something that nobody can take away. But yeah, like I said, I've been here before, and you've got to be careful what you wish for.
Lauren, this is your chance to say what she's wrong with Natasha Jonas, that it is the passing of the torch to you.
Yeah, I mean, take age out of it. I just think, you know, I know I'm better in all areas. I back myself. You know, my accolades speak for themselves. I know I'm still, you know, fresh into the pro game. I've had 8 pro fights, but each fight I've stepped up. I will admit, yeah, Tasha is my toughest test, but I believe she brings another level of my game out, and I rise again. And yeah, I've always had pressure on me, you know, from the amateur days, going to the Olympics, expecting to win gold, but going to do that and walking out to an Olympic final, you know, it doesn't get much bigger than that. And with pressure comes diamonds, and I will be coming out on March the 7th as a winner and taking them belts back to Wales.
What was the message that you gave us in the ring on the night of collision, of course, that you were too young, too fast, too strong? Why, just expand on that, why you believe that to be the case?
Because I do. I believe, you know.
Sorry, Eddie, I'll call you back. Katie, no, it's too late. Katie's gone. Sorry, mate.
Sorry, Lauren, as you were saying.
Yeah, no, I stick by it. I believe in myself, like Tash believes in herself. But I do believe it, the right time is now, you know. A lot of people wrote me off against McCaskill in Cardiff on May the 11th. And like I said, I am lost around, and I was quite comfortable in it. I do believe she is a tougher test, like I've said. But I still think, you know, I come through with flying colours.
I'm going to invite both of you just to give a final message before we leave you to your training camps. I think there's been a lot of talking. There's been a bit of spite inside out of the two of you.
Sorry.
No, I mean, these are just chances for a final message to each other. You say you're the underdog. You say that perhaps people are overlooking what you've already achieved in the sport, that it isn't your time to go. What is your final message to Lauren Price?
I decided at the time, and just be careful what you wish for. Have a great camp, and I'll see you on March the 7th.
Your response, Lauren, your chance to give. Tasha's saying there, it's her, she will decide on her own terms. It's not for you to do that.
Yeah, that's up to her. But like I said before, have a good camp, and yeah, I'll see you on March 7th, and that's it. I mean, we've done all the talking, we don't need to talk anymore. It's a great fight, and it's sold itself. So I look forward to it.
I'll finish with you, Ben Sean. It has got all the hallmarks of a great British rivalry, okay? It's not Shields Marshall, it's not got that venom, but there is enough here. We've already seen them sort of lock horns at collision course night, where I think we're all taken aback. It's got all of the ingredients that you could wish for.
Yeah, look, when there's this much on the line, you're going to get an edge, and we've got one. It's two great competitors, two people I feel honoured to be part of and to represent. Natasha Jonas, for me, is a true British boxing legend. She was a boxing legend before I met her. She's then gone on to become a multi-weight world champion. So for her to be headlining the Albert Hall is just another thing to a wonderful career that looks to go on. And Lauren Price has got everything to prove. The gold medalist, the MB, never lost a round. Just achieved things that no one else achieved in the amateur sport. She'll want to replicate that now in the professional sport. And yeah, it's a truly great fight. Final tickets at boxer.com. Two huge announcements to make this week. It's going to be a phenomenal night for the sport, and yeah, I can't wait.
Well, thank you very much for coming out today.
At the Royal Albert Hall, Karriss Artingstall makes her return to the ring against Raven Chapman. Live on Sky Sports and NBC's Peacock.
One fixed up goes. This one. Thank you. Perfect. Done. Thank you.